Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. With all this time on our hands at home, quarantining, avoiding this terrible health scare, many YouTubers like myself have accepted the challenge. We're stepping up and keeping the content flowing, sometimes even adding in extra videos and streams when we all can. Not saying this because I think I'm being heroic or noble or courageous or anything. In fact, my schedules are largely the same mostly. I'm giving you guys 5 to 6 videos a week here, like always, albeit a good amount are going to inevitably cover this ongoing situation, bringing you good, strong information you all can rely on. But recently, one of our adversaries decided to actually return from a prolonged break, which was funny too because I distinctly remember checking in on them about a week ago while looking for content to review here on NoBS. I'm of course talking about Newsbroke, the AJ Plus Al Jazeera sponsored series dead set on attacking the United States and spreading anti-American, anti-capitalist, and pro-social justice warrior propaganda online. And this returning video they just made is not much different from the classic Newsbroke style either. The only addition is the host Francesca is now filming from home in light of this ongoing epidemic. And also, as expected, they're trying to blame this problem on President Trump, shocking, while also trying to give Bernie Sanders credit for helping with this for some weird reason. I mean, I know they've always been socialist and communist supporting, but Bernie's campaign for president is virtually over after he lost too many primaries. And as for dealing with this current issue, Bernie has done very little, if anything, to contribute at all. Meanwhile, Trump is leading this country and the world like a true professional. Trump is acting like a champion right now, winning in all areas and making our country more safe and secure in this desperate time of need. Regardless though, let's go ahead and turn to the new Newsbroke video then and see where their terrible arguments go specifically. Check this one out.
Free healthcare, dropping student debt, universal unemployment benefits, caring about the homeless? American politicians and pundits are suddenly taking all those things very seriously. Like, if you happen to be coming back from a 12-day silent meditation retreat with Jared Leto, you might think, wow, is Bernie president?
Well, although Jared Leto does look like a bit of a hippie, I have to say this and defend him here. I actually think he's a very smart and thoughtful guy. Idiots don't become the lead singers of legendary rock bands like 30 Seconds to Mars. And also, they don't become seasoned and well-respected actors, appearing in some of our generation's favorite films like Fight Club, American Psycho, and Requiem for a Dream. Needless to say, if Jared Leto was just famous due to dumb luck, he wouldn't have kept his career going for 20 plus years like this, nor would he have gone on to win an Oscar and also gain himself many millions in cash. So with that said, I doubt the guy would come out of a 12-day retreat thinking Bernie Sanders is president all of a sudden. But I guess Francesca is implying that people might think a socialist is president now, considering all the people who are caring about freebies, handouts, and government support now. And that brings us to the main point of this introduction. What Francesca said here at first was far more interesting and rather misleading too. She said American politicians and pundits are suddenly caring about all these socialist-like benefits like free healthcare, dropping student debt, unemployment benefits, and so on. And well, she's very obviously doing this to say, hey, we cared about this stuff before you. Why is everyone else just caring now? And the obvious answer is the current worldwide health crisis we're all dealing with. This is what caused people to care more and ask for help, and the government has started to step up and give it out too. But once we get through this, I think most of us would like to get back to business as usual one day. But clearly Franny here and the other socialist and Bernie supporter types, they want these social safety nets to be open and accessible at all times, a proposition that would quickly bankrupt and destroy our country, undoubtedly. So just because we chose or went along with trying to bail ourselves out of this crisis, that doesn't mean radical leftists can spin this into full-blown socialism year-round and forever. Because make no mistake, people, that's what these kinds of liberals are angling to do already, as is evidenced by this video we're watching right here.
Welcome to another season of Newsbroke. If you had told me back then that 4 years into the Trump administration we would be filming under quarantine from our homes, I would have been like, yep, that checks out. Has he been impeached? Of course. What we're going through is so surreal and scary.
If you say so, lady. First of all, if you really thought what we're going through now was surreal and scary, you wouldn't be joking about it left and right in the beginning of your video. You've hardly even made a point yet, nor have you gotten through a full minute of your spiel, and you've already attempted numerous jokes about this supposedly serious issue. Now, I of course do think this is serious, and that's why I'm talking normally here like a sane and rational person, but Francesca really isn't though. She's talking like a wannabe stand-up comedian comedian or something. And she's acting like a crazy person who talks to herself constantly too. Kind of like those bums who walk by you in the city talking to themselves all day long. So yeah, it just seems really funny to me how she jokes and goes on with the laughing and stuff, and then she tries to pretend she's taking this seriously too. It's just very incongruent and doesn't match up. But that's nothing compared to the very sneaky and very biased and unfair way she just treated Trump. I don't know if everyone noticed this because it happened quickly, but she did just imply that this crisis is happening because Trump is president. The line basically went, if you told me 4 years into the Trump presidency we would have to be quarantined, she would say to that, yep, that checks out. And what I have to say to all that is, hey, why are you implying this quarantine is happening because Trump has been president? It's not. We are handling a worldwide epidemic that came from a completely different country in a whole other continent. But I guess we shouldn't be surprised about this either, since leftists like to blame literally everything on Trump already. Reminds me of the anti-Obama stuff from his presidency. Remember how liberals tried to bash conservatives then by summing up our qualms with Barack by saying, thanks Obama? And admittedly, there were lots of Republican types that often said things like that, or even they unironically said the catchphrase too. But isn't it rather ironic and or hypocritical for these same Democrats to now basically say thanks Trump time after time? Because I truly think it is.
And since everyone is stuck at home anyway, we also thought it was the perfect time to bring back Newsbroke and look at a number of aspects of this moment with a skeleton crew, no animations, and my cat running camera. Good job, baby.
Of course she's a cat lady. She also seems to be working and staying afloat pretty well, all things considered. Don't know why she's implying she's one of those people who has it hard right now then. Franny certainly isn't missing any meals or paychecks over any of this. Nor is her terrible Newsbroke show going to be affected at all. You see, here's the thing about Newsbroke. They've had awful ratings and negative receptions of them for years. But AJ Plus still keeps ramming their episodes down our throats because they're corporately funded. And also, as mentioned earlier, they're getting paid by Al Jazeera, which is also a government-funded news corporation from the Middle East. So yeah, while real YouTubers like me have to deal with less ads or a disruptive influence coming from this crisis, well, Newsbroke and Franny have to care very little about that because they never had to care and they were always outside funded because they're just here to peddle left-wing, pro-socialist, anti-American propaganda and talking points. And they don't have to worry about the views or ratings at all. The other thing worth pointing out here again is how Franny is joking about 8 seconds after trying to pretend she's taking this issue seriously. Stop it with that. Not only are your jokes unfunny and cringy and terrible, they're also starkly inappropriate for the tone and topic you seem to be going for today. I know this is her usual shtick, but I mean, come on. At least stop trying to pretend you're taking this seriously as you joke on and go on and talk about your cat.
Besides spread and take lives, it's also somehow made President Trump really jealous. It's almost like he's mad another younger, hotter pathogen has gone more viral than he has.
Citation needed, lady. Really, I think the whole point to this analogy was for her to slip in yet another joke though. This time calling the sitting president a virus. Pretty disrespectful, but hey, as we said before, this show and its company have allegiances elsewhere. Also, if Trump seems angry or upset, it's probably because a foreign-sourced virus is plaguing our nation, and he's the only politician acting like an adult right now trying to fix it.
It has also exposed deep structural problems in our healthcare system, our economy, and our political systems. It's like a black light shining on our econo lodge of a country. The bed seems sturdy, but you do not want to see what's holding it together.
Well, I would say our country is more like the Plaza Hotel in New York or the Drake in Chicago. We're obviously more on par with something like the W in Los Angeles at least. And let me tell you why. People don't try and sneak into this example Franny gave, the Econo Lodge. There are not families across the globe vying to get into shitty rooms at the Motel 6. No, these people are trying to get into one of the best and richest countries in the world, with the most opportunity, greatest resources, and most wonderful people in the world too. At least some of us. And when people from other countries visit America, they don't come to stay in an Econo Lodge. No, they stay in the Plaza Drake or W, like premium, expensive hotels. And sure, these 5-star lodgings aren't perfect all the time. They may have bad things in them like drugs or illegal activities, and there's also lots of sex happening in their rooms too, but at the same time, they do keep their places nice, and they hold on to their premium quality by cleaning their hotels and making sure everything's safe as possible. This cleaning and security, of course, being funded by their high prices. Now, to better adapt adapt Francesca's analogy a bit more, what she's suggesting is she wants to make our country into an Econo Lodge, or some kind of other shitty, scary, sketchy hotel, like a hostel, and they want to do so by letting everyone in willy-nilly, and not charging people to stay here either. Now, which of these places would you rather stay at? Sure, the Econo Lodge or the socialist version of America, sure, it's free, but it's also terrible, unsafe, and gross. And then there's the current 5-star resort style of America, which we're enjoying now, the one everyone wants to get into, and the capitalist country that's gotten us where we are today. And sure, you have to pay your way here and work a good job, and it can even get expensive in some places, but it's certainly worth it since we're staying in an amazing, safe place, and not a dangerous shithole like the places these illegal immigrants keep coming from. We're like a resort with great rooms, good beds, a view, and places to go all around us nearby. But apparently Francesca doesn't appreciate that.
There are problems that Bernie Sanders has been sounding the alarm on for decades, which are all now painfully on display, just like my bookshelf of IKEA boxes is painfully on display.
We're also getting a painful display and reminder of how unfunny you are, Franny. I wish this girl could go a line or two or maybe 20 seconds without trying to crack a joke too. Damn, who told her she was funny anyway? Seems like she's the kind of girl who had guys laugh at her in high school because she was cute or something, and now she thinks she's actually funny to people not interested in dating her. She's not though. And regardless, back to the points again, this crisis is not proving Bernie and the socialists were right all along. Not at all. All it shows is that now people need help and support in this time of need. But that doesn't mean we should be enacting this lefty bullshit all the time, year round, even when there's no issues. And that is what Franny's implying here. And her and other socialist Democrats are already trying to leverage this problematic time into making their policies passed for good. Even though most of us realize this aid is only necessary in times of need and during disasters, like what the world is going through in 2020.
Bernie Sanders has long advocated for a national health care system, Medicare for all, which covers all people with no out-of-pocket costs. And that has been met from both Republicans and Democrats with that all too familiar question. You know the one.
How are we going to pay for it?
The same way we pay for most healthcare expenses in this country. GoFundMe.
More jokes again, ones that never landed, but hey, at least she's trying, I guess. But really, I don't think she's going to answer that question either, even though it does have a lot of merit and it is important to ask. How the hell are these socialists going to pay for free, unending, unlimited healthcare? I'm not sure, really. I'm not the one suggesting it, and they don't seem to have any answers either. I guess they just think they can put it on the country's credit card and pretend that debt will disappear one day or something. It won't though, and you're acting like a teenager who can't handle the most basic of finances. Children think things like this. They think, hey, I don't know who's paying here, but who cares? The adults have to worry about it. And this idea is funny because I saw a politician, Ilhan Omar, make this same kind of stupid point too. Socialists like her and Franny here on Newsbroke, they think that because the government chose to pass a stimulus bill now in a time of need, that means they can also pay for all their bullshit too, year round, which would cost us many more trillions of dollars to do. So yeah, their logic basically goes like this. If the US government can stretch themselves for a bit now and come up with $2 trillion to help us stave off this problem, well, to them that means they can also spend 10 or 20 or 30 trillion dollars on other things they want to pay for. What a ridiculous presumption. And it just goes to show how bad at math, accounting, and money handling, and how bad they are at financing and budgeting too. These dullards really are hopeless.
Tens of thousands of Americans suddenly need rapid testing, hospital beds, and sometimes respirators, and the richest country in the world hasn't been able to provide them. Healthcare workers themselves are not only in short supply, but so is their basic protective gear, like face masks, to safely treat patients. And that's to say nothing of the magazine selection in hospital waiting rooms. It's just the same 3 issues of Highlights magazine.
I haven't seen or heard of hospitals running out of shit yet, and I'm certainly not going to believe some lying and under-the-table dealing Al Jazeera employee like Francesca here, who has a proven history of lying and making shit up. In addition, I just can't get past the terrible dichotomy of this again. I know I've already made this point a couple of times, but I just can't help but comment on it one last time. No one is going to take you seriously, Franny, if you keep making stupid jokes every 15 seconds. You can't say, oh, this health scare is terrifying, and then say people are in danger, and then follow that up with a joke about some dog in the cover of a children's magazine. That shit just doesn't work. And in this situation, it is worth pointing out repeatedly since you're joking repeatedly, and because Franny's disrespect for the situation keeps getting worse. And again, I understand this is their format for Newsbroke, but perhaps they need to be covering different, lighter topics than this worldwide pandemic that's killed many, especially if they're going to feign concern here while also still putting in their out-of-place jokes. You basically have two options, Franny, if you really want to fix this. I doubt you do, but here's my unsolicited advice. Either cover different stories in this jokey format, like say, talking about an influential movie or discussing a more benign political issue like say, kneeling at sporting events or something. Sure, these topics will inevitably involve a mention of the crisis, but after you set that up, you can just move on to talking about other parts of the story, keeping the jokes that apparently this show just can't go without. Or for my second suggestion, actually, what they really should do is try going without jokes altogether. This would not only help with the tone problem they're having already, but also, overall, Franny would be far easier to listen to if she stopped trying to crack cringy jokes all the time. She's not funny. In fact, she could even have a decent career as an independent journalist or YouTuber or influencer or something if she really wanted to, if she dropped the jokes. She's obviously pretty and has decent speaking skills too, but instead of using the good asset she's got, Franny is clinging on to this I want to be a comedian dream that should have been given up on a long time ago, because clearly she's not funny and can't handle this kind of sense of humor in the right ways. The only reason Francesca's even working in the public now is because she sold her soul to foreign corporations and decided she would be okay with pushing their anti-Trump, anti-American baloney. What do you guys think? Is this whole thing that's happening in the world right now Trump's fault? Will the Democrats continue trying to push to keep all these safety nets going forever and ever into perpetuity? Comment your thoughts on everything below, and thanks for watching No Bullshit. Hit that like button to help support this channel, and we'll see y'all next time.